Well, we're starting off the week great, and I hear Marquette's looking forward to the first NMU hockey home game.
Yeah, they are, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Atte Tolvanen, our junior goaltender, can do this year. And speaking of junior goalie Atte Tolvanen, he was named as one of 20 collegiate goaltenders that have been placed on the Mike Richter Award watch list. This award is in its 5th year and honors the most outstanding goaltender in college hockey. Tolvanen made the WCHA second team last year and was selected preseason as an all-WCHA second team pick. Last year, Tolvanen was named NCAA First Star of the Week and WCHA Defensive Player of the Week in consecutive weeks, en route to being the WCHA Player of the Month in February. The winner of the Mike Richter Award will be announced at the 2018 Frozen Four in St. Paul, Minnesota. Detroit Pistons coach Stan Van Gundy believes that the solution to discourage the worst NBA teams from tanking their season is to wipe out the NBA draft. He said, quote, "I'd get rid of it. Just get rid of the draft altogether. We'd just deal with all the salary cap, make all the rookies free agents coming in, and if I want to give a guy $50 million a year, good, but I got to do it under the cap," end quote. Van Gundy's comments followed Thursday's Board of Governors vote that reworked the lottery odds each team gets. Starting with the 2019 draft, the top 3 teams will each have a 14% odds of landing the #1 pick. Also, 4 teams will be drawn in the lottery, meaning the team with the worst record in the season before could fall as low as 5th in the draft order. The Pistons were one of 28 teams that approved the lottery reform measure. And lastly, tonight we have plenty of playoff baseball on our hands. First at 5:08 tonight, we have the Yankees taking on the Indians, and the Indians are currently leading this series 1-0 off of a strong first outing by ace Trevor Bauer and the heavy bat of Jay Bruce. The final score of that first game was 4-0, and the Yanks certainly would like to earn a win tonight in Cleveland before going back to the Bronx. Also tonight, we'll have the Dodgers taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks in Game 1 of their NLDS series. No team has lost less this season than the Dodgers, but the D-backs are up to the challenge. They'll have a tough night ahead of them as Dodgers ace Clayton Kershaw will take them out opposite from Taijuan Walker. Luis Avilan of the Dodgers was still listed as day-to-day. According to the Delta County Sheriff's Office Facebook page, a female subject has now been arrested in a methamphetamine investigation that occurred off of County Road 186 in January. The 23-year-old female was arrested and lodged at the Delta County Correctional Facility on the charge of conspiracy to manufacture methamphetamine. Her name is being withheld pending arraignment in the 94th District Court. Ontonagon Public Schools are closing early today due to illness. The school will let out at 12:30 p.m. According to Superintendent James Babula, around 90 students were out with flu-like symptoms. The school will be closed on Thursday and Friday as well for cleaning and to give students a chance to get better. They will reopen on Monday morning. This is the 3rd school to close this week due to illness. Both Lawrence and Sacred Heart in Lawrence closed Tuesday and are scheduled to reopen tomorrow. Donald Trump maintained his momentum by winning the Michigan GOP primary Tuesday, but the bigger story of election night was a stunning upset by Bernie Sanders over Hillary Clinton. With 98% of precincts reporting, Sanders had 50% of the vote compared to 48% for Clinton in the Democratic primary. Meanwhile, in the GOP race, Trump took 37% of the Republican vote compared to 25% for U.S. Senator Ted Cruz, 24% for Ohio Governor John Kasich, and 9% for U.S. Senator Marco Rubio. Because both Michigan and Mississippi award their Democratic delegates on a proportional basis, that means Clinton actually widened her lead over Sanders on Tuesday in the delegate count for the Democratic nomination. By winning Michigan, Trump has widened his lead over his rivals in the delegate count for the Republican nomination. And Mother Nature didn't do the Muskegon Winter Sports Complex, home to Michigan's only Olympic-style luge track, any favors this season. Unreasonably warm temperatures throughout much of November and December, combined with a noticeable lack of snow, made for a mild winter compared to the previous 2 winters. The multi-sport complex, located in the heart of Muskegon State Park, closed for the winter season over the weekend. Despite the difficulties caused by the weather, the complex's executive director, Jim Rudisil, is happy with the short but efficient season. Among the attractions hit hardest by the mild winter were the skating rinks and the cross-country trails, which saw admissions decrease by 20% in comparison to last year. Oftentimes, those facilities were unable to open because the conditions simply didn't allow them to. And stay tuned, because after the break, we'll be back with your national and international news. 2 Baltimore school police officers have been charged after cell phone video surfaced showing one of them slapping and kicking a teen at a school while the second officer stood by. Anthony Spence and Severna Bias turned themselves in Tuesday night, city police announced in a written statement this morning. Both are charged with second-degree assault and misconduct in office. Spence is also charged with second-degree child abuse. Online court records show both posted bond and were released on Wednesday. City police began a criminal investigation into last week's incident at the school after the 8-second clip surfaced. The school district has its own police force separate from city police, and the school police department is conducting an internal investigation. Amazing pictures are pouring in from a rare celestial event. People in Southeast Asia experience a total solar eclipse. As Don Champion reports, millions of people here in the U.S. will get the same opportunity next year. Welcome back. More than half of the nation's governors say they oppose letting Syrian refugees into their states, although the final say on this contentious immigration issue will fall on the federal government. States protesting the admissions of refugees range from Alabama to New Hampshire to Michigan. Among these 31 states, all but one have Republican governors. The announcements came after authorities revealed that at least one of the suspects believed to be involved in the Paris attacks entered Europe among the current wave of Syrian refugees. Some leaders say they either oppose taking in any Syrian refugees being relocated as part of a national program, or ask that they be particularly scrutinized as potential security threats. Only 1,500 Syrian refugees have been accepted in the United States since 2011, but the Obama administration announced in September that 10,000 Syrian refugees will be allowed entry next year. French security teams raided an apartment building overnight looking for the man behind Friday's deadly attacks in Paris. Jonathan Vigliotti has the latest from Saint-Denis, just outside Paris. The Russian passenger jet that crashed over Sinai, Egypt, was brought down by a bomb estimated to contain 1 kilogram of explosives. According to Russian Federal Security Service on Tuesday, the Russian government is offering a $50 million reward for information about those who brought it down. The government had initially resisted the theory that the plane fell victim to terrorism, perhaps in retaliation for Russia's support of the government of Bashar al-Assad of Syria. Also on Tuesday, U.S. defense officials said Russia had conducted a significant number of strikes in Raqqa in northern Syria in the past several hours. The terrorist group ISIS, which has claimed responsibility for downing the plane, has made its Syrian home in Raqqa. The Metrojet flight crashed on October 31st after departing from Egypt, killing all 224 people on board. And stay tuned, because after the break, we'll be back with your weather and sports.